YouTube, this is Shell with Shelby's Knickknacks, bringing you another crochet tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to finish off the hat from the last tutorial by adding a little pom-pom to the top. So stay tuned and I'll show you how to do that. First we'll start with the materials. For this project you'll need scissors of your choice, yarn needle, yarn color of your choice. In this one I'll be using Red Heart Super Saver for size 4 yarn in the color medium time. You will also need Pom Pom Makers, and these come in multiple sizes. I got them a couple years ago from my local art supply store. I'm not sure which one, maybe Hobby Lobby, maybe Michael's, but they come in 4 different sizes in the ones that I have here. And last but not least, you will need the hat in order, or whatever you're putting your pom-pom on. In this case, I'm using the beanie that I made in the last video. I will also link the video in order to make this beanie down in the description box for those that would like to make the simple ribbed crochet beanie. Okay, for this one I pulled some yarn, and because my beanie is fairly large, I want a sizable pom-pom to go on top. You don't want it too small, because in that case I feel personally it would look a little funny. So I'll be going with the medium size one. I feel that'll be a good size pom-pom to put on top of the hat. Okay, there are 2 sides to this Pom Pom Maker. First, what we will do is we will open up the white clasp on the sides. Open that up. And it doesn't matter which side you start from. Let's get a closer look there. It doesn't matter which side you start from. Just make sure that when we start, we do everything evenly, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so I have the yarn, and make sure that both sides are even and together. I'm going to personally start from the bottom, it's just my preference. I'm going to use my thumb to hold that yarn in place, and I'm going to wrap it around. And making sure that all the time it is even. And I'm going to keep wrapping this around and around and around. And again, depending on how thick you want this, that depends on how many times you wrap it around. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just make sure it's to your liking and that you just keep everything fairly even when we're doing this. Okay, and you see everything's fairly even, and we're going to do this all the way around. And personally I like to do mine 2 or 3 times over, so basically I'm just following the curvature of this tool. Get some more yarn. Okay, so I'm going to get around to that edge. And at this point I can kind of let it go because it's keeping itself together at this point. So it gets a little easier as we go. And just keep wrapping the yarn around. Okay. So at this point I've already wrapped that around. And I consider that one time since it's covered the entire bottom half of this. So I will meet you back after I wrap this to the thickness that I would like. And I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm back. Basically, I wrapped it 2 times over. I feel that's thick enough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple more wraps until I get to the center. I'm going to let a little bit of that yarn hang down. Take your scissors. And we're going to cut that excess off. And just make sure there's a tail long enough for you to still keep that yarn secure on the other side with your fingers. And just make sure you pull down on that a little bit so it won't unravel. This is the tricky part using this tool. You have to make sure all of your yarn stays in place. So now we're going to go to the other side. So now I'm going to carefully close the top. And I'm going to keep my fingers pressed here and rotate. And the reason I left a little extra tail is so now I can bring that yarn down and I can secure it there as well. And now I will switch hands. Hopefully you can see this now. I'm switching hands all the while keeping that piece of yarn secure. And I'm just switching over. And so now I'm going to hold this here. I'm going to get out the yarn again, and hopefully, depending on how tight you pulled it, you'll be able to just let it be for now, but just keep an eye on it because you do not want this to unravel all of that hard work you've done. So I'm going to take my yarn again, leave a little tail. I'm going to wrap it around. Make sure that's secure. And then I'm going to wrap it around as many times as I feel that is needed. And we're just basically repeating on what we did on the other side. And we just keep wrapping around. Wrapping around. Need to open that up a little bit to get in there. Okay, so I'm going to keep wrapping. And basically, at this point, I'm pretty sure we don't need to be repetitive. I can just meet you back after I wrapped it to about the thickness of this half, and I'll meet you at the end of that. Okay, I'm done wrapping the second half of this Pom Pom Maker. So I'm right back at the middle. And you see that stayed intact. I pulled that fairly tightly so it won't unravel, but we're not going to worry about this right now. We're going to finish this half up. Okay, let me zoom in so you can see. Okay, so I'm keeping my fingers on the other half of this, on top of that yarn. I'm going to cut a little excess there. And then I'm going to wrap that around. And now, making sure that both of these pieces are nice and open, I'm going to now close this. Making sure again to keep those tails in mind. Let me zoom out so you can see. And then we're going to close each end to make it secure. Okay, at this point it should be fairly safe depending on how you've wrapped it and how comfortable you feel, because I know this can be a little finicky to deal with, seeing as you're worried about your nice work unraveling. So basically at this point, with both tail ends down on the table, I will put this down. Now I will get a piece of yarn from my yarn ball and just make sure it will be long enough to basically go through, and you'll see what I mean. So maybe about, I'll say 8 to 10 inches just to be super safe. 12 if you want to be extra safe. It's better to have more than not enough. I cut my yarn. Okay. So I'm leaving that there on the table. And I'm going to pick the Pom Pom Maker back up, and you'll see why I did that in a second. Now it's time to actually make the pom-pom. So we tighten down on that yarn. We take our scissors. Let me zoom in so you can see better. And now right in between this space here, we're going to make sure you hold that yarn though. That loose piece of yarn that you had, make sure you hold that. And I'm going to go through with my scissors and I'm going to cut, making sure that you keep your thumb there. You do not want to lose these strands as you're cutting. Okay, so we have cut the first side. Now, this is the part where we will be taking that string that we got earlier. We're going to pick that up, and right in between this space, we're going to take that yarn. I know it's a little difficult to see. I'm trying to do my best here. And we're going to stick that string right in between where we just made that cut. And now that it's there, I'm going to pull down right in there. So now the string is down in between. Now I'm going to carefully rotate my work. And since I'm right-handed, I need to just turn it around, making sure that we aren't losing the pieces that we just cut. I'm going to carefully place my thumb in to secure that. I'm going to pull that excess from this side down because that's now going to become part of our pom-pom on the inside. And make sure that you do not cut this string that we just put down the middle. That's what's going to hold our pom-pom in place. So now I'm going to scoot that down a little bit, making sure that it stays in there. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this side. Again, making sure we keep that secure. Don't want to lose any. And see, we're coming really close to that string. We do not want to cut that. Okay. So we're going to get in between there. And now that that's cut, we're going to bring this string up on both sides that we put in between there earlier. And we're going to pull it all the way through. And see, now it's hanging there. But again, you want to be really careful at this point. So now I'm going to place it on the table. I'm going to tie it in a knot. So I'm going to go down once, making sure I get it really tight. I want that to be really tight and secure. You do not want those pieces falling apart. So that's once. And then I'm going to turn it over the opposite end. Do the same on this side. I'm going to tie that piece in, making sure it's tight every single time, as tight as you can get it. And I'm going to keep going back and forth and doing that. Now this is the opposite side. Going to tie that string in there. Really tight. And now I'm going to start to double knot because I feel that's very secure at this point. Okay, and one more time on the other side, I'm going to knot that, tie it, and then put a knot. Okay, one more time should do it. Okay, now I'm sorry if that was really hard to see. I'm trying to do my best here, and you see it's starting to look like a pom-pom. Now the next step is to take this off. Okay, now we take the little white part here, we open that up on this side, we take this other side and we open that up, and now you just pull it apart. And you see there, by tying that string down, we can safely take this apart. And now we have our pom-pom to work with. And see, that turned out to be a really nice size. Now at this point, we just need to shape it up and just make it look as pretty as you would like. Or if you want to keep it like this, that's fine. But I know some people like to do a bit more trimming. So I'm going to trim mine up, shape it the way I would like, and I will show you how to attach this to your beanie. And again, when you are trimming this, please do not trim these. You will definitely need these in order to secure it properly to your project. So again, you trim this part, but you leave the strings alone because you will need that to secure it to your beanie or whatever you're using this for. And now I'm back. I have the project that I would like to attach my pom-pom to. I have trimmed it, got it as nice and round as I personally think is pretty nice. So now we're going to use our yarn needle, and I'm going to stick these in there, those little tail ends. Okay, I have it inserted in that little hole, and now I'm going to stick my hand through and come up to the very top of my beanie here, and I'm going to put the needle directly in the center of the top part of this beanie. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I pull that all the way through. Okay, I pulled it all the way through, and now from the inside, see, pulled that through. I'm going to just weave in a couple times right around the top part of the beanie. I'm going to stick my needle back through as close to as I can to that base that we just made. Okay. Okay, got it through right here. Pull that back through. And then I'm going to go through the base once again. Try to go through the pom-pom itself just to make sure that you attach the string in there. It'll make it a lot more secure in the end. So I'm going to go through the bottom part of the pom-pom, come out on the other side, and I'm going to stick my hand through just to make it a little easier and go back down through the base. And I'm going to go on the inside of the beanie now. Pull that all the way down, securing that some more. And just continue to come back up, run your yarn through the pom-pom, and then back down again through the beanie towards the center to make sure that your beanie stays nice and secure. And I'll meet you back when I'm done. Okay, I feel that I've got my pom-pom as secure as I would like it. So now I'm going to turn my work inside out. Lost my needle there. Okay, and now at the very center of the hat, I'm going to go in just a few more times. With my needle. I'm going to go in right along the base here, the center. Okay. Drive that through and pull it through. And now I'm going to release only one of the threads from this needle. So you see, I took out one. I have another one right here, still inside that needle, and I'm going to take that back through the work, bring it up through. Now at this point I'm just going to double knot it and making sure that it's secure as possible. Okay. And just make sure it's really tight and secure. Actually, I'm going to knot that one more time, just to be safe. Okay, and you can clip off these ends. Turn your hat back out. Okay. And we have a nice pom-pom at the top. It's nice and secure, it's not going anywhere. And that is it. Okay, that is the end of this tutorial showing you how to make a pom-pom to attach to your projects. And mine is attached nice and secure at the top here. I think it goes great with this beanie. Could I have done it a little bit bigger? Maybe, but again, this was just for the purposes of this tutorial, just to teach you the basics on how to make your pom-pom, or a certain type of way to make it, at least with the tools that I have here, and how to secure it to your project properly. So I will be back next time with another tutorial. If there's anything in particular you would like to see, just let me know. And again, this is Shell with Shelby's Knickknacks, and I'll be seeing you soon.